Everybody, I want to share with you some insights into why your new clients are much more likely to walk out the front door empty-handed than your existing clients. And it's really interesting because often when we look at performance metrics of team members or of a business, it's very common for a business owner in the hair and beauty industry to just look at their overall rebooking and overall retention rate. And to me, that is a little bit challenging from the sense that it doesn't really give you a true and accurate picture of what's going on in your when we think about your sales process, for example. In your sales process, your rebooking and your retention really is an indicator of the health of your sales process when it comes to mapping out treatments and treatment and service plans, right? The strength of that is indicated by your rebooking, your retention numbers, right? So yes, you can get an overall picture of the strength of your treatment planning and your service planning process by just looking at your overall rebooking and retention rate. But the true kind of representation of what might really be going on in your business is when you separate out the new client rebooking and a retention rate from the existing client rebooking and retention rate, right? Because it gives you a better snapshot of what is actually going on in that circumstance. And I'm going to focus on why your new clients might be walking out the front door. Like, what is it in the sales process that might have you enjoy a 85% retention rate, right, of your existing clients, but when it comes to your new clients, it's like 20%. Like, I literally just had a conversation with a salon owner like 5 minutes ago who runs a hugely successful hair salon that, is amazing in terms of their client journey, their experience, their consultation process. But she said to me, Chrissy, like, our client retention is around 86%, but when I look at our new client retention, it's only 25%. And I just said to her, number one, I'm glad you're looking at the new client rebooking rate in isolation, because a lot of people don't. That's great. And number two, this is the reason why you need to separate them, because if you attack this as a whole, which you could, you're actually missing the unique strategies that need to be employed and understood when it comes to new client commitment, right? Because effectively, if you've got new clients walking out the door without securing their next appointments, something has gone wrong in your consultation process or your sales process, if you want to call it that in sales and marketing land. So let me talk to you about what some of the fundamental problems are, right? So obviously with an existing client, they, really, the ones that we have really good relationships will just do what they're told, right? The trust is there, the relationship's there, and as a result of that, when you're recommending that they book in for their next 6 services or whatever that might be, they do it, right? But a new client ain't like that, right? They often come in, and as I've mentioned before, a new client, depending on their stage of change, can be anywhere between contemplation stage of change, which is I'm interested in what you have to offer, but I'm really not invested, right? To preparation, which is I'm interested, I'm open, but I'm not sure what it takes to get there. To preparation phase, which is clients that are interested, open, and they're willing, right? There's different layers of motivation that a client will present with when they're a new client. And it could be a variation of all three, right? What I find, though, is commonly the new clients that are walking out the door, right, that are empty-handed, not booking their appointments in advance, are much more likely to be the clients that are in contemplation. They're interested, but that's it, right? So your sales process or your consultation process needs to ensure that it doesn't just educate people. And that, I think, is fundamentally the challenge in the hair and beauty industry. We're told over and over again, if you just educate the client, if you just tell them, what it is that they need and why they need it, then they should buy, right? Which is actually not the case. You need to do more than that, particularly with someone that's in contemplation, right? And you know that, you've tried to educate these interested but not invested contemplation stage clients, and they've gone, oh yeah, yep, that sounds really good. Okay, great. Can I let you know? We've all been there, right? And you think, damn it, I just spent all of that time giving her all of the information that she needed. I presented it beautifully and I educated her on everything that I thought she needed to know, and she still bloody said no. How frustrating is that, right? It's because you didn't deal with the motivational components of the client. You didn't ask questions that raised levels of commitment and motivation in the client, right? So an example of a motivational question is something along the lines of, on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to get the results that you're asking me for today? With 10 being super excited, you'll do whatever I recommend, and 1 being not very excited at all, right? Because often we don't ask that question. We don't know. What we know is at the end of a sales process or a consultation process is they just say no. The objection's probably always been there. Like when you're asking someone whether they're committed or whether they're motivated and they rate themselves low, it's actually an opening for you to explore. Okay, tell me why that is. Tell me why you're a bit apprehensive to committing to, future appointments and home care prescription. Like, what's going on for you that I need to understand? And then it's much more likely that they're going to put the real objection on the table. They might say something to you along the lines of, well, I'm just not sure if I can afford it. Like, you haven't told me what the price is, right? Or, I am worried that you're going to tell me that I need to come in every week and I just don't have time to do that, right? Great. You can work with those things. You can work with someone that might be restricted on budget. You can work with someone that might be restricted on time. And in fact, the fact that they've told you that puts you in a much more better position to produce a treatment plan and a home care prescription that is mindful of those limitations for the client, right? What we tend to do is we don't ask the question. We present our Rolls-Royce service plan and a budget, and a home care prescription. We don't bother about asking them about any of their limitations or what they're willing to do and what would be their ideal scenario. We just give it to them, shove it down their throat and go, what do you think? And they go, no, thank you. Doesn't work for them. Doesn't matter how amazing it looks. It doesn't matter how quickly the results are going to come or the outcomes they're going to get. You didn't work with where they were at. So they walk out the front door, right? So overall, the messaging needs to be that your sales process or your consultation process has to include motivational elements as much as it does education elements. And if you don't do both, they walk out the door. And they often walk out empty-handed. So if you're watching this now, first of all, go and look at your new client rebooking and retention rates for starters in isolation to your existing, your overall figures. And if you're getting anything anything unfavorable is up to you. I think some of the clients that we work with, when they really start to, address this and adjust their sales and consultation process and start asking the motivational questions, they can get their new client rebooking rate up to their existing client one when they're doing a good job of that, right? So anything less than your existing client rebooking and retention rate needs work. So first of all, go and look at it. Second of all, if your consultation is not including elements of motivational questioning or interviewing and educational components, then you need to change it. It's blaringly obvious, right? So it's really important that you get your head around these things and you understand what the metrics are telling you, and you also understand how to fix it. So I really hope that helps, guys.